My fiancé falsely accused me of cheating and got his mom and sisters to attack me. Now the truth is out, and they are begging me not to report it, but I'm going to make sure they rot in jail. I, 32F, a regular American woman working a stable office job, believed I had found the love of my life a year ago. We got engaged quietly, just family and a few close friends celebrating at a backyard barbecue. At first, everything felt straightforward. Maybe a bit opinionated, but I didn't mind. I shrugged off their subtle hints about my background or my modest income compared to some flashy folks they knew. I was happy to marry their son, and that was all that mattered to me. Then, a few weeks ago, everything changed. On a Sunday afternoon, my fiancé demanded we talk. He showed me a series of photos on his phone, grainy, poorly lit images of me leaving a restaurant with another man. I stared in disbelief. The man in those photos was just a co-worker I'd had lunch with, nothing romantic at all. But my fiancé wouldn't listen. He called me a cheater, screamed that he'd been warned about women like me. His tone was vicious, as if every warm moment we'd shared had never existed. Before I could fully process what was happening, his mom and 2 sisters stormed in. They accused me of playing with his heart, of using him, of betraying their family. I tried to explain the misunderstanding, show them text messages proving my coworker was just that, a coworker, but they wouldn't have it. Without hesitation, they attacked me right there in my own living room. Punches flew. A lamp crashed to the floor. I ended up bruised and bloodied, barely able to stand. They left me half-dazed, warning that if I came near their son again, they'd do worse. My fiancé stood there, arms folded, glaring like I was some disease. He told me the engagement was off, that I was lucky they didn't break my bones. I was stunned. One moment I'd been planning wedding details and the next I was facing a rage-filled family assault. Hurt and furious, I went to the hospital to patch up my wounds. The doctor asked if I wanted to report the assault. I hesitated, still in shock, but I knew I'd need to protect myself. I called a lawyer friend who advised me to go to the police and document everything. I filed a police report. The officer seemed sympathetic, took photos of my injuries, noted down names. They told me the investigation could take time, but I had a strong case. My lawyer said these were clear-cut charges of aggravated assault. I knew pressing charges would be no small thing. It would blow everything wide open. But after what they did, I didn't see another choice. A week passed in a numb fog of disbelief. Then I got a call from a distant relative of my fiancé, someone who knew something crucial. "You need to know the whole story," she said quietly. I braced myself. I had no idea just how deep the betrayal ran. The next evening, I met that distant relative, an aunt who lived 2 states over, only coming to town for big family events. We met at a diner off the highway. She looked uneasy, glancing around before speaking. "You deserve the truth," she said quietly. "Your fiancé's father engineered this. He never liked you, never thought you were good enough. He wanted his son to marry his friend's daughter, a wealthy girl with family connections." I leaned forward, heart pounding. "What does that have to do with these fake cheating photos?" I asked. She sighed. "His father hired someone to follow you, snap ambiguous pictures, and twist them into a scandal. He fed lies to your fiancé, told him you'd been seen around town with other men, spread rumors you were living a double life. By the time you got home that day, your fiancé was primed to see you as a villain. His mom and sisters, well, they're hot-headed. He knew if they believed you cheated, they'd lash out, scare you off." I clenched my fists, anger burning hot. They planned this all to break us up, and now I had bruises to prove how well it worked. I asked if she had any proof. The aunt nodded, sliding me a USB drive. "There are text messages I intercepted, sent between the father and his friend. They talk openly about framing you. The father's words are clear. He wanted you gone so his son would be free to marry someone more suitable." Disgust rose in my throat. I thanked her and left, hardly tasting my coffee, focused on what I'd do next. Armed with these messages, I met my lawyer again. He listened, jaw tightening. "This changes everything," he said. "We can show conspiracy, malicious intent. It supports your assault case, proves you were targeted under false pretenses." He advised me to hand the evidence to the police. I did, and the detective's eyebrows shot up as she read through the transcripts. Now they had motive, planning, and a violent aftermath. The father's involvement turned a simple assault case into something more sinister. A few days later, I got a call from my fiancé's mother. She sounded nervous, contrite, saying, "We might have acted rashly. Let's talk." My lawyer told me not to meet them alone. I refused. Then my fiancé texted me. "I'm so sorry, I was confused. Let's try again, please." Now that the truth was out, they wanted to patch things up, pretend nothing happened. Unbelievable. After smearing my name and attacking me physically, now they spoke of reconciliation. They must have realized the legal trouble they were in. I ignored them. My silence drove them to show up at my flat's doorstep, knocking, begging. I didn't open the door, Just call the police to report harassment. My fiancé called again, leaving a voicemail. I had no idea my father lied. Please understand, I was manipulated, his voice trembled, but I couldn't ignore what he'd done, believing them without proof, turning on me in a heartbeat. I scheduled a meeting with the district attorney handling my assault case. She reviewed the new evidence and nodded grimly. We can pursue not only assault charges against his mother and sisters, but also conspiracy and possibly attempted extortion if we find financial arrangements tied to that arranged marriage. This was serious. Jail time wasn't just a distant threat. It was a likely outcome for them if convicted. The DA seemed confident. She had texts, a witness, the aunt, and my injuries documented by hospital records. The mother and sisters had acted on a fabricated scenario, and the father had set it all in motion. As the legal gears turned, I found myself standing firm. My fiancé sent more messages. His voice trembled in every voicemail. I was scared of my family. I didn't know what to do. Please, let's talk. I listened in silence. If he truly loved me, why did he never ask for my side before letting them beat me? He had a moment to choose trust over blind rage, and he failed. Now, with the truth out, he wanted forgiveness. But forgiveness wouldn't heal my bruises or erase. A cousin approached me in my office parking lot, urging me to drop the charges. They made a mistake, she said, palms raised in a pleading gesture. No one wants a court battle. Just let it go. I refused. A mistake doesn't involve premeditation, lies, and violence. The cousin hinted at compensation. They'll pay for your medical bills, offer a settlement. I shook my head. I wasn't interested in hush money. They deserved a fair trial, and if found guilty, they deserved the punishment the law prescribed. Soon enough, my lawyer told me the police made arrests. The mother and sisters were picked up for assault and battery. The father was taken in for questioning about the conspiracy. My fiancé wasn't arrested. He hadn't directly assaulted me, but his credibility was shot. I heard that while under questioning, the father tried to play innocent, claiming he only encouraged his family to protect his son's honor. The police had the texts, though, showing how he egged them on, planned the fake evidence, and arranged the timing. The mother and sisters tried to say they were just defending their son's dignity, but the detectives didn't buy it. They knew the difference between defending honor and orchestrating a violent ambush. My fiancé grew desperate. He begged me to meet at a cafe near the courthouse. Against my lawyer's advice, I agreed, so long as I could bring a friend to witness. He arrived looking worn, eyes rimmed red. I've lost everything, he sobbed. My family's facing charges. We might lose our home. Please, can't we solve this outside of court? I stared at him across the table, remembering how easily he believed the worst of me. His apology fell flat. He had chosen his side when he let them pummel me over a fabricated rumor. I leaned forward, speaking quietly so my friend could hear. You believed a lie without giving me a chance. You stood by while they assaulted me. I was left bleeding on the floor. Now that the truth is exposed, you want me to drop it and move on. He sobbed, hands trembling. I was scared of my parents. My father insisted you were cheating. He said your co-worker lunches proved it. I didn't know what to believe. I shook my head. If you loved me, you'd have asked for my side. You would have demanded proof, confronted me calmly. Instead, you let them beat me. Now you face the law, not because of me, but because of what you all chose to do. He tried reaching for my hand, but I pulled away. I'm pressing charges. I'm going through with this. They deserve to face the consequences of their crimes. If you think love means turning a blind eye to violence and lies, then you never understood me at all. He broke down crying. He begged again. But I was done. I stood up, left him at that table, and returned home. In the following weeks, the legal process unfolded. The mother and sisters were indicted for assault. The father faced conspiracy charges. The DA was confident, and my lawyer kept me informed. The family, once so proud and entitled, now squirmed under the scrutiny of the justice system. They tried everything, plea deals, sob stories, but the evidence was too strong. On the day of the trial, I testified calmly, describing the assault and the deception leading up to it. The jury saw the photos of my injuries, read the text messages revealing the father's plan. They heard testimony from the aunt who'd come forward. They listened to the defense try to spin it as a misunderstanding, but the facts were undeniable. The verdict, guilty. The mother and sisters received prison sentences for aggravated assault. The father got time for conspiracy. They would all have permanent criminal records. My former fiancé, though not criminally charged, lost his standing in the community. People knew what happened. He tried to contact me after the sentencing, but I blocked his number. I refused to entertain any more pleas. In the aftermath, I reclaimed my life. The bruises healed, and I began to trust myself again. I learned a painful lesson. Love without mutual respect and trust isn't love at all. Justice prevailed this time, proving that schemes built on lies and brute force can collapse under the weight of truth. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.